In just 10 days, your relationship could be over if you're not careful. And it all starts with non-stoic habits, those small, seemingly insignificant actions that slowly erode trust, intimacy, and understanding. In this video, we'll explore 10 habits that can destroy your relationship and how Stoic principles can save it. Stay with me, because the insights we'll uncover may be the wake-up call you need to turn things around before it's too late. Stoicism teaches us how to control our reactions, understand ourselves, and relate to others with wisdom. At its core, it's about mastering our emotions, maintaining perspective, and making decisions grounded in rational thought rather than impulse. When we neglect Stoic practices, we risk falling into patterns that can damage the very foundation of our relationships. Without self-awareness and emotional control, it's easy to let small missteps snowball into major issues that could lead to a breakup. Today, we'll take a closer look at 10 habits that, if left unchecked, could end your relationship in just 10 days. But don't worry, by applying Stoic principles, you can avoid these pitfalls and strengthen your bond in the process. Let's dive in. One of the most common ways relationships break down is by reacting impulsively to our partner's words or actions. Maybe they say something that annoys you, or their behavior triggers an emotional response, and without thinking, you snap back. Before you know it, the situation escalates into a full-blown argument. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, taught us the power of pausing before reacting. He believed that in moments of stress or anger, we must take a step back to maintain our rationality and not let emotions dictate our actions. He wrote, "When you are about to speak or act, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is it kind? Will it help the situation?" A simple but powerful tip here is to practice the pause and reflect method. In moments when your emotions are running high, take a deep breath and count to 3 before responding. Use this moment to assess your reaction. Is this something I can address calmly? Am I reacting out of frustration or thinking rationally? By pausing, you allow your mind to catch up with your emotions, leading to a more thoughtful response and preventing unnecessary conflict. Constantly bringing up past mistakes or arguments can keep old wounds fresh and prevent healing. It's easy to fall into the habit of rehashing past conflicts, but doing so only creates unnecessary tension and distracts from what truly matters, your present connection. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, taught us that dwelling on the past is a distraction from the present. He said, "Why are you disturbed by the things you cannot control? Focus on the present and use it wisely." By clinging to the past, we give it power over our present and future. A practical way to let go of past grievances is through journaling. Write down your feelings about past arguments, acknowledge them, and then consciously decide to release them. Journaling helps you focus on the present moment and allows you to move forward without letting the past dictate your emotional state. With practice, you can free yourself from the burden of old mistakes and focus on building a healthier, more positive relationship now. Expecting your partner to meet unrealistic standards is a surefire way to set the stage for disappointment. When we hold our partner to a perfect image, one that's impossible to attain, every small mistake becomes a point of frustration. Over time, this can lead to feelings of resentment and disconnection. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, reminds us that we cannot control others, only our reactions to them. He taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We often forget that our partners are human, and just like us, they have flaws and imperfections. A powerful Stoic practice here is to embrace imperfection, both in yourself and in your partner. Rather than expecting flawless behavior, focus on growth, on becoming better together. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Acknowledge mistakes as opportunities to learn and give your partner the grace to be human, just as you hope they'll give you the same. By shifting your mindset from perfection to growth, you create a space where both of you can evolve without fear of failure. Ignoring personal growth is one of the most subtle yet damaging habits in a relationship. When we neglect self-care and personal development, we stop growing as individuals, and this stagnation can spill over into the relationship. We may begin to rely on our partner for happiness or fulfillment, which creates pressure and resentment. Stoics believed that self-improvement is an ongoing pursuit. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like the wrongdoer." In other words, the best way to contribute to a relationship is to continuously improve yourself, not just for your own well-being, but to elevate the partnership as well. A practical tip here is to set personal goals that also support the relationship. Whether it's improving your communication skills, managing stress more effectively, or developing a new hobby, these goals help you grow as an individual while also contributing positively to the relationship. When both partners are committed to personal growth, they not only become better versions of themselves, but also create a more fulfilling and balanced partnership. Avoiding conflict in a relationship is a common response, especially if you value peace and harmony. However, failing to address issues as they arise only allows resentment and misunderstandings to build up over time. Stoicism teaches us that avoiding necessary conflict is a form of self-deception. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." By refusing to confront issues, we avoid taking responsibility for our reactions and fail to address the root of the problem. A practical tip here is to use calm, direct communication to address problems early before they escalate. Rather than suppressing your feelings or bottling up frustrations, share them openly and respectfully with your partner. Use I statements to express your perspective without assigning blame, e.g., "I feel upset when this happens because..." This approach helps maintain clarity, empathy, and understanding in the relationship, enabling both partners to work through issues together. Holding grudges is one of the most destructive habits in a relationship. Over time, unresolved resentment builds up, poisoning the connection and creating distance between partners. Each small grievance turns into a weight that drags down the relationship, making it harder to find peace or happiness. Stoicism teaches us that forgiveness is crucial. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Holding on to grudges doesn't punish the other person, it only hurts you. When we refuse to forgive, we trap ourselves in the past, making it impossible to move forward. A practical tip here is to let go of grudges by focusing on understanding and moving forward. When you feel resentment building, try to see the situation from your partner's perspective. Recognize that we are all imperfect and that mistakes are opportunities for growth, not reasons for punishment. By choosing forgiveness, you free yourself from the past and create space for healing and progress in the relationship. Seeking constant validation from your partner can place an unfair emotional burden on them. When we rely on our partner's approval for our self-worth, we give them power over our emotions, which can lead to feelings of dependence and insecurity. Over time, this can create tension, as neither person feels truly free to be themselves. Stoicism teaches that true self-worth comes from within. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A Stoic understands that their value doesn't depend on external validation, whether from a partner, society, or any outside source. A practical tip here is to practice self-validation. Recognize and celebrate your own strengths, accomplishments, and efforts without needing constant reassurance from others. Encourage your partner to do the same by fostering self-confidence and self-reliance. Both of you will feel more secure in the relationship and more capable of supporting each other without the pressure of constant emotional dependence. Prioritizing ego over empathy is a habit that can create division and hurt feelings in a relationship. When we let pride dictate our actions, when we're more focused on being right than understanding our partner's perspective, it leads to disconnection. We may win the argument, but we lose the relationship. Stoicism teaches us the importance of empathy, which is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." A Stoic knows that true strength lies not in defending the ego, but in putting others' needs before our own pride. A practical tip here is to practice listening without judgment or the desire to be right all the time. When your partner shares their thoughts or feelings, resist the urge to immediately rebut or correct them. Instead, listen attentively and seek to understand. When you approach conversations with empathy and humility, you create a space for connection and understanding, strengthening the bond between you and your partner. Neglecting emotional control, especially during arguments, can cause irreparable harm to a relationship. When we lose our temper or become overly emotional, we often say things we don't mean, and our judgment becomes clouded. Instead of resolving the issue, we end up escalating it, making it harder to find common ground. Stoicism teaches that anger clouds judgment and leads us further away from peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." A Stoic seeks tranquility over emotional turmoil, understanding that the ability to control emotions is a key to maintaining harmony in any relationship. A practical tip here is to practice deep breathing, mindfulness, and emotional regulation. When you feel your temper rising, take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Pause before responding and use mindfulness techniques to stay present in the moment rather than getting swept up in anger or frustration. By taking control of your emotions, you create space for clear, rational communication, which can turn a potential conflict into an opportunity for growth and understanding. Focusing on external circumstances like blaming your partner or outside factors for your unhappiness is a dangerous habit. It shifts responsibility away from you, making it easy to fall into a victim mindset. Over time, this fosters resentment and powerlessness as you begin to believe that your happiness depends on everything around you except yourself. Stoicism teaches that happiness is an internal state, not reliant on external conditions. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." No matter what happens outside of us, we have control over how we respond and how we choose to feel. A practical tip here is to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, reactions, and actions. Instead of blaming your partner or external circumstances for your unhappiness, ask yourself, how can I adjust my mindset? What can I do today to improve my emotional state? By taking ownership of your happiness, you stop external factors from dictating your emotional well-being, and you become more resilient in the face of challenges. Let's quickly recap these 10 non-stoic habits that can quietly erode a relationship: reacting without thinking, dwelling on the past, expecting perfection, ignoring personal growth, avoiding conflict, holding grudges, seeking constant validation, prioritizing ego over empathy, neglecting emotional control, and focusing on external circumstances. These habits may seem small, but they have a powerful impact on the dynamics of a relationship. Now, by embracing Stoic principles like self-reflection, emotional control, and empathy, you can transform your relationship into one based on mutual growth and understanding. So take a moment to reflect on these habits. What changes can you make today to ensure a stronger, lasting relationship? Remember, it's the small daily practices that lead to big transformations. Start applying Stoicism to your relationship today and watch it grow into a deeper, more fulfilling connection.